Next is our Duet technical event. Before we start, we invite you to listen to Canada's most decorated team member and 2016 Olympian, Jacqueline Semino, who couldn't compete in this event with partner Claudia Holzner as they were in mandatory 14-day quarantine in Canada after attending another World Series event in Budapest, Hungary.
So we asked Jackie how she was able to stay in shape during this quarantine when she couldn't leave her home.
Over the pandemic, we've done multiple trainings over Zoom at home, so I felt really well equipped during this quarantine to stay in shape and do multiple trainings at home, various different types of training as well, whether it be flexibility, strength, or cardio. I've done everything that I possibly could during quarantine so that when I come back, I could have the smoothest transition possible into the water.
Corinne, this must bring back memories of 2016 for you as Jackie's Olympic duet partner in Rio.
I mean, obviously, anytime I see Jackie compete, I get overly excited just because I do know her so well. But mostly, I think I'm just excited for what's to come in the future. I'm excited to see her compete at the Olympics at Tokyo, and I just wish her all the best all the time. All right, so here's our start list for the technical duets. You're going to be seeing first from Egypt, Hannah Heikel and Lila Mawson.
So as we watch these routines, these are actually separate technical elements. So just like the solos, there will be technical elements. So there'll be 6 elements in chronological order. So try to pick them out as we go through these separate routines. This is actually Egypt's first virtual World Series of the season. Really nice lift.
The theme of the routine here is the beauty of love.
And here we have our first technical element. We're looking for height, speed of the spin,
beautiful choreography here.
and here is our second element, where the body stays horizontal as the legs move around an axis from below the surface to above the surface and under. And again, these are very short routines where you have to fit all of these elements in. As we look at our third element, again, looking for height out of the water, perfectly aligned down the axis, and a fast rotation through the water.
And obviously as a duet, we want them to be synchronized in every single aspect, not just the elements, but all of the routines surrounding these elements.
You're also looking for the space between the athletes to be very close. And with this element that judges flexibility, your legs are spread, more than arm's distance. So you have to have the special distance so you don't hit each other. And then somehow you have to get close back for your next element. And there's our power element. Again, height out of the water, a fast and very high thrust, followed by a descent with a spin.
Final score for Egypt, we have 23 for execution, 23.2 impression, 29.83 for the elements, for a total score of 76.03. So this for Egypt is they have actually qualified for the continent. They will be representing Africa at the Olympics in Tokyo. Next up, we have Australia. We have Emily Rogers and Amy Thompson.
And they, like Egypt, they have also qualified for the Olympic Games. But they're still getting out here at these events, at the FINA World Series, the Virtual World Series, to really get the experience they need to place highly at the Olympic Games. There is actually one required element. Each routine must contain a lift, a jump, or a throw. It can be placed anywhere in the routine, so coaches and athletes strategically place it to get the maximum height out of that element.
These athletes here are swimming to a song by the Rolling Stones, Paint It Black.
Watching these athletes, you can really see how much Australia has developed their athletes over the years. They're in a different region than a lot of countries that can compete very closely with other high-level countries. So they need to get out there. They need to see other countries, the different styles, the different techniques, and the power of some of the top countries of the world.
I think this is the beauty of virtual competitions as well now, is that these athletes from Australia won't actually have to travel across the world anymore.
Exactly.
Every single time.
Yeah, and that's something that artistic swimming has done. We've embraced this kind of opportunity or this challenge to make it really great for our athletes, to see other athletes and inspire each other to improve ourselves as athletes to new heights in our sport.
Green seagull turn a deeper blue.
We're looking for max height in that vertical here. Beautiful splits, extension.
So that was the final element, and again, they add even more difficulty by adding more legs at the end of the routine after their final element. And that's going to only help improve their technical and artistic score. Final routine score for Australia: execution 22, impression 22.3, elements 28.5, with a final routine score of 73.04.
Next up, from the United States, we have Megumi Field and Anya Melson. Anya and Megumi are from the East Coast originally, but they both moved to California for the national team. They're doing online high school to be able to swim. So these swimmers are obviously very young, and their commitment to the sport is really quite incredible.
So this is a very new duet. So they've only had a very small window to train and to practice. So they've probably trained about 12 hours together, but they're still doing a really amazing and great job. You can see their powers coming through.
Just to give everybody an idea of what 12 hours in the grand scheme of synchronized swimming means, there's probably 40 hours a week of training that goes into a normal week of a synchronized swimmer. So 12 hours is maybe 2 practices. It's not a lot.
You can see they're young, and even without a lot of practice, they're really great up-and-coming athletes. And they're actually new members of the senior national team. So they do have a really great future ahead of them.
Being so young, I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to come up with in the next few years.
In all of these routines, you can see we're always going for that artistic impression score. So they're trying to use different parts of their body together simultaneously to show that they're strong athletes, strong artistic impression throughout the routine. And you can see their lift was actually towards the end of the routine.
Which to me just adds a little bit more difficulty, honestly, because you're adding the level of tiredness, obviously, in these bodies.
Because you're trying to throw one person completely out of the water.
So final routine score. We have 23.7 for execution, 22.6 for impression, 30.7 for the elements, for a total of 77.03. Next up from Singapore, we have Mia Young and Debbie So.
You know, our coaches are our eyes outside the water. So there may be two people in the water, one person or a group of people, but we're all combined with our coaches. You know, so it takes a lot to be a coach. You know, we have to have a lot of respect for them, and it goes both ways.
Here we see the ballet element.
Again, very interesting music choice. And again, it's something, the music is personal to each swimmer. You know, it's really incredible to see the different athletes and their styles. It's also special to see these coaches that devote their lives to our sport, how much they care and how much they share their love. You know, our coaches are our family, our teammates are our family.
Very well said. Here we go for the last element.
They just keep moving from start to finish. And it shows just how athletic our sport truly is.
That requires a lot of energy.
You know, people think that we're all smiles, but your legs are burning. Execution score, 23.3, impression, 23.3, elements, 31.4, with a final routine score of 78.03. Our next technical duet is from Liechtenstein, Marluce Hirscher and Lara Michnig. This is their second Virtual World Series. And currently we have 8 spots left open for the Olympic Games. So this is one of the duets that's really going after that spot to find their place as Olympians at the Olympic Games in Tokyo.
A little fun fact about this duet. Between the duet and the coach, they have 4 nationalities between all of them. Both girls' fathers are from Liechtenstein. Lara's mother is English, Marluce's mother is Brazilian, and the coach, Francesca, is Italian. So there's a lot of different influences in here. It's beautiful to see.
And I think you can see those styles represented. And again, this is a duet that's really making its mark on the world stage. And I think they've really taken the opportunity for this pandemic to really improve their skills and really make the world know that they're coming for them.
Beautiful sharpness in this little section here. I really like that.
Padma samba va padma samba va padma samba va padma samba va Dalai Lama Dalai Lama Dalai Lama Lama tashidele lama tashidele lama tashidele lama tashidele.
It's interesting seeing people's music choice and how they place these different required elements on those music.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think they're really going for it in this routine. There's 8 more spots remaining for the Olympic Games in the duet events, and it's very obvious that they want it.
There's the final element, height, execution, thrust out of the water.
And again, another fast figure after that last element. Double figure. Great job.
Really awesome swim. I think it's even better than the last World Series that I saw them at. So it's really awesome to see these athletes continue to improve.
Absolutely. So final score, execution, we have 24.1, impression 24.1, elements 31.28 for a total score of 79.48. Next up, we're going to look at a duet from Japan. We have Itsuki Hirota and Inata Kumagai. A little bit of a height difference between these two athletes. It'll be interesting to see how they manage that in the water.
Wow, a backflip. And see, this just showcases how athletic our sport is becoming. We were once called synchronized swimming, and we've evolved, and now our name is artistic swimming. And that's to further evolution of becoming a more athletic sport, a sport that's including more men, more events, such as the highlight routine, the mixed duet, the combo routine, that showcase such different athleticism. And again, Japan is known for their speed of movement, as you can see in their routine.
And as the host country, Japan is already qualified for the Olympics. So their national team will be at the Olympics. this summer in Tokyo.
Another element that's very difficult to determine your spacing and then pull back in close to each other. It looks beautiful on the surface, but underneath, you're constantly hitting each other, avoiding each other's arms, legs, feet, knees, and again, coming up and making it look effortless.
These athletes have told us that they enjoy practicing every day so that they can improve in their performance. They love to have a lot of fun, and their coaches really make sure that they understand their athletes properly to give them the best choreography possible. Nicely executed for that last element.
Really great job. And again, this is all done without touching the bottom. Execution score, 24.0. Impression score, 23.9. Elements, 32.4. With a final routine score of 80.32.
Next up, we have a second duet from Japan. We have Yuriko Mitsuhashi and Asaka Osokawa.
These technical routines are interesting because you can really compare the different countries and the different athletes between each other because they all have the same 5 required elements, plus the jump or throw.
Here we're seeing the bow leg element really early on in the routine. They're really working on all those different angles with their legs. They're showcasing that they can really work on all their synchronization, even though they have those different angles.
And as well as those angles, you can see at these virtual competitions, there is an audience, but they're still playing to every part of the pool, just like you would see at in-person competitions. Through the judging, they want to see these athletes travel around the pool and use as many angles as possible throughout their composition.
Looking for max height in that vertical, beautiful splits on the water.
And here's another lift that's towards the end of the routine. And again, that can get very difficult because again, you're throwing someone completely out of the water. And as you do these end routine elements, you want to show everyone that you could just keep going with these routines. Really great job.
Final score, we have 24.5 for execution, 24.4 for impression, 32.49 for the elements. It comes to a total score of 81.39. Next up from the United States, we have Anita Alvarez and Lindy Schroeder.
So Anita's best place achievement so far is the 2016 Olympics, where she earned an 8th place result. She also won a bronze medal at the French Open in 2020. A fun fact, like many athletes during the pandemic, they wrote a lot of this routine in a backyard pool because no pools were open to train in.
That's incredible. Beautiful height in that element here.
And this is the second duet from the United States. But remember, only one routine, the top scoring routine, will be combined for that total result of the FINA World Series and that prize money. And that's why these athletes are inspired to do all these competitions, because there is that prize money for the athletes. Really great spins right on their axis. For this duet, as you'll continue to see even in the free program, they really love using different types of angles, different types of movements that you would normally see in artistic swimming. They really push those boundaries.
Choreography does a wonderful job at highlighting these girls' strengths, and their elements are executed beautifully.
And she has really great flexibility, as you just saw, where her head's all the way up to her leg in an arch. And this is also one of the duets that are still fighting for one of those spots at the Olympic Games. So even though we're very close to the Olympics, there are countries that are still working hard, still fighting for these last spots. Great job. Execution 25.3, impression 25.6, elements 33.7, with a combined score of 84.66.
Next up, we have the Netherlands with Marloes Tinbeek and Notch Reingen.
Again, you can see by this, we're becoming more athletic and really pushing the boundaries of our sport.
Very difficult starting position. Handstand.
And they're just flying down the pool. That's another thing that the judges are looking for, that propulsion down the pool. How much you can move, how much you can control each different part of the pool. Wow, moving as quickly as they are.
We are finally hitting our element here. So they've done a lot of routine before getting to that element, and it's performed very well.
And that's also interesting to see where these athletes and coaches put their elements to really showcase the individual athletes.
Final score, execution 23.8, impression 24.4, elements 30.59 for a final score of 78.79. Next up from the Cayman Islands, we have Amber Barnes and Madison Van Johoven.
So you can see, even though we are seeing these routines for the first time, all of these routines have been prejudged earlier, and then the judges have been sworn to secrecy. So no one knows the results. We don't know the results. The judges don't know the results. Only we will know the results when everyone finishes.
It's a whole production to do a virtual competition like this, isn't it? Some of these duets have to not only compete against the other competitors, but it seems like they have to compete against Mother Nature. So a lot of these pools are outside, and if Mother Nature is not cooperating, it might not be so easy to compete.
Exactly.
It's a little bit windy in this pool here.
So even though it's virtual, it's not always, easy amongst ourselves to pick the best day, but there are times when you might be able to re-record if we do face certain weather restrictions. And as these athletes are doing their routines, they are given a number, and they must swim their routines and within 1 hour upload their routines, and that's how we get these virtual results.
Technical duet event, we are looking for the technical elements, but also we want the swimmers to be synchronized with each other at all times. There's no opportunity for them to showcase different artistic aspects of the sport, and simply must just be synchronized from beginning to end.
You can see a slight synchronization mistake there. However, over this pandemic, the Cayman Islands have really put themselves forward, letting the world see that they are developing a program. So over this pandemic, I've seen multiple competitions, virtual competitions with the Cayman Islands, and it's really inspiring to see their program grow even within the past year.
Now, there was a technical review for this routine, but no penalty was given in this review. So thankfully, these athletes will not be penalized. Final score is 17.5 for execution, 18 for impression, 21.88 for elements, for a total score of 57.38. Next up, we have Germany. We have Marlene Boger and Michelle Zimmer. This particular duet here has been together since the fall of 2020, and their goal is to have a spot to go to Tokyo together.
As you're watching routines, we do have the required elements, but there's 3 panels of judges, which in the future is going to change because we would like our sport to be more objective versus subjective. So that means all of the coaches will enter very specific degrees of difficulty before the competition in hopes that all of these routines will be scored more precisely, more evenly, more accurately. So that's something to really look forward to in our sport as we evolve.
It will really be eliminating any human subjectivity that could be involved.
Exactly. And it also is good for the athletes because they can truly see how they can improve between each individual competition. And we'll also have world records because they'll see their scores and we'll really see how a score compares to other athletes.
It is very interesting. I'm excited to see the level of difficulty of some of the world leaders in our sport, like Russia.
Very much so.
And that's something that's been in the works for a long time. I think it's some objectivity in our sport is something we wanted to bring in. And so it's currently being tested, and we're hoping to be able to bring that in the next few years.
Definitely. I think we all love feedback, and that's one thing that's going to really help us improve our individual skills.
Very nice performance.
Execution score 24.2, impression 24.5, elements 32.04. Total routine score 80.74.
Next up, from the Republic of Korea, we have Si-young Baek and Ri-young Lee.
Korea actually hosted the last World Championships before the pandemic. Nice synchronization on that spin at the end. So amongst these elements, they're very specific on the element, but getting into them and out of them can be your choice. So you see a lot of different movements in the way they get into them. But they do have to be facing to the side of the judges. So the judges see all of these elements in profile, which makes it a little bit easier for the judges and a little bit for the athletes to really develop the way that they move around the pool. Nice job.
Final score, we have 23 for execution, 23.1 for impression, 30.63 for elements, for a total score of 76.73. Next up from the Netherlands, we have Mirelle Luring and Maria Lorenzini.
Another acrobatic move to start the complete routine.
These two athletes are also still juniors. This is the first time they are swimming a technical routine at an international competition. And they're
What a great
not
opportunity.
swimming their own choreography here. They're actually swimming the senior national team's duet choreography that was created for them in 2018. Oh yeah, sorry, like you were saying, great opportunity for them to get to compete in a technical duet event like this.
And they're handling this very well, even though they're juniors. They're swimming just as strong as the seniors. One thing that you can look at between these routines is just how close these athletes are to each other. Some are even closer than other competitors. And it makes a difference in how they move around the pool, as well as the difficulty, because it's more difficult to do these moves while extremely close.
The odds of getting hit just get that much higher.
Exactly.
Nice synchronization there.
One thing that you'll notice among these routines is that an in-person competition, you'll have judges all around the pool. But at these virtual competitions, you have one camera that's filming from the center of the pool about 2 meters off the floor, or 6 feet.
Great job. And Lau and Maria.
Execution score, 22.5. Impression score, 23.4. Element score, 29.5. With a final routine score of 75.49.
Next up from Japan, we have Yuta Kobayashi and Ami Wada.
This duet received a gold medal at the 10th Asian Age Group Championships and have been practicing together all throughout the pandemic. So these athletes are also juniors, and Ami is 17 years old and has always been the top junior athlete in Japan. So this is one athlete to really look out for in the future.
I always find it so exciting to see such young athletes performing at this level on
Yes,
the international stage.
it's really inspiring to see how much they can grow and improve over the years. This must be very exciting for them because the Olympics will be in their home country. So to be so close to all that strength and power of the Olympic athletes, it's got to be very inspiring. Very well matched hybrid. You can see why they're the top juniors.
They look look like they have a mirror in front of them.
Beautiful, Ellen. Beautiful height.
Height and full synchronization.
I would say this is a duet that's going to really be one to look out for in the future.
I agree.
Amazing.
What a great job. Final score for execution 24.9, impression 24.8, and elements 33.81. For a total score of 83.51. Now, before we get into the results of this event, let's do a quick round of this or that. For this one, we asked the athletes what they liked better, cats or dogs.
Dogs.
Dog.
I prefer dogs.
Cats.
Dog.
Dogs.
Dogs. I like cat.
That was cool.
That was really cool. So in first place, we have the United States with Anita Alvarez and Lindy Schroeder. Are you surprised? I'm not.
Definitely not.
That was a beautiful routine.
Awesome routine, awesome strength. And they're again looking for that spot at the Olympic Games. And you can see down through number 10, all of these countries will be put in the placement to win that prize money at the end of the final World Series. Our bronze medal goes to Germany.
All of these athletes should be incredibly proud. I hope this positions them really well for the Olympic qualifier.
Silver medal to Japan.
That would have been the last one we saw.
And for our gold medalist, United States of America, with a score of 84.66. Well done.
Well done.
Next stop, Olympic qualifier.